Have you ever felt like the world stopped noticing you after a certain age? Not in a dramatic way. Just quietly. The phone rings less. The driveway stays empty longer. People hurry past your life as if it has already happened. And then one morning, while pouring coffee into the same old mug, you notice a squirrel sitting outside your window, staring directly at you. Not searching for food. Not afraid. Just watching. And for a strange moment, it feels as though something in the universe still remembers you are here. Many people living alone say the same thing. A squirrel keeps returning. It waits near the porch. It appears during difficult mornings. Sometimes after grief. Sometimes after loss. Sometimes during the loneliest seasons of life. And the oddest part? It often feels less like being watched, and more like being seen. Tonight, I want to talk about that feeling. Not scientifically, not magically, but emotionally. Because maybe the question was never, why is the squirrel looking at me? Maybe the real question is, what does a quiet creature notice that the rest of the world has forgotten to see? There is a certain kind of silence that only exists in homes where someone used to laugh. You can hear it most in the mornings. The coffee maker still sounds the same. The floorboards still creak near the hallway. The mail still arrives at noon. But something invisible has left the room. People who have lost a spouse often describe this in nearly identical ways. Not just sadness. Not even grief itself. But absence becoming physical. The empty chair across the table. The untouched side of the bed. The second towel no longer hanging in the bathroom. At first, the house feels temporary without them. Then slowly, painfully, the silence becomes the new normal. And that may be why small moments begin to matter more than they once did. A bird landing on the fence. Rain tapping softly against the porch roof. Wind moving through old trees. Or a squirrel appearing outside the same window every afternoon. When you live in busy years, you barely notice these things. But solitude sharpens attention. Especially in suburban and rural neighborhoods where nature still moves close to human life. Older homes. Wide backyards. Wooden fences. Tall oak trees. Feeders hanging beside kitchen windows. Places where the natural world quietly continues its routines, even after human routines have changed forever. And perhaps that is part of the comfort, because grief makes people feel separated from life itself, as if the world continued moving while they remained emotionally frozen. Yet squirrels never treat a grieving house like it has disappeared. They still run across the fence. Still bury acorns beneath the maple tree. Still arrive at sunrise. Nature continues to knock gently at the door. Not demanding anything. Not asking you to move on. Not forcing healing before you're ready. Just reminding you, you are still part of the living world. And for someone who feels forgotten, that reminder can become surprisingly powerful. Children notice squirrels because they are playful. Older people notice squirrels because they are faithful. There is a difference. A child sees excitement. An older person sees return. The same tree. The same branch. The same tiny visitor appearing day after day. Consistency becomes emotional comfort later in life, especially for people who live alone. In many suburban neighborhoods across America, mornings follow a gentle rhythm. Curtains opening. Maybe a cardigan against the cold. Maybe an old radio station playing softly in the kitchen. And outside, the world continues quietly. A squirrel crossing the yard. Another pausing beside a bird feeder. One standing upright near the porch steps as if checking whether someone is home. For younger people rushing through life, these moments disappear into the background. But loneliness slows perception. People begin noticing details they once ignored. The way sunlight hits wet grass after rain. The sound of distant lawn mowers in summer. The exact hour shadows reach the backyard fence. And because older adults often spend more time at home, they begin recognizing the patterns of nearby animals. Not intellectually, emotionally. The squirrel that comes at 8 a.m. The nervous one with the torn ear. The bold one that sits closest to the window. The tiny pause before it runs away. These repeated encounters create something modern life rarely offers anymore. Quiet companionship. No pressure. No complicated conversation. No expectations. Just presence. And presence becomes deeply meaningful after loss. Especially after losing someone who once filled the home with movement and sound. A squirrel does not replace that loss. Nothing can. But sometimes healing does not begin through grand emotional breakthroughs. Sometimes it begins with very small reminders that connection still exists. A creature outside your window recognizing your routine. Returning to your yard. Appearing again. And again. And again. Until one day, without realizing it, you begin looking for it too. There is something deeply human about wanting to be noticed. Not admired. Not famous. Simply acknowledged. To feel that our existence still reaches beyond the walls of our own home. This longing becomes especially strong after retirement, widowhood, or years of living alone. Because society often moves away from older people without meaning to. Adult children become busy. Neighborhoods change. Friends move away or pass on. And eventually, entire days can pass without meaningful interaction. That kind of isolation changes people emotionally. You begin wondering whether anyone would notice if your routines disappeared. And then comes a strange little moment. You open the curtains, and the squirrel is already there, waiting on the fence, looking toward the window. Not for long, just a few seconds, but long enough to create a feeling that is difficult to explain, as if your existence interrupted another living creature's morning, as if your presence still matters in the rhythm of the world. Many lonely people describe similar emotions without ever discussing them publicly because they fear sounding foolish. But it is not foolish at all. Human beings evolved alongside nature. For thousands of years, people lived close to animals, seasons, trees, weather, and migration patterns. Modern life separated many people from those rhythms. Yet older suburban and rural communities often preserve traces of that older connection. And in silence, people rediscover it. A squirrel staring through the glass may seem insignificant to someone else. But to a person carrying grief, loneliness, or emotional exhaustion, it can feel like contact. Not supernatural, just deeply alive. The world responding back. After someone dies, ordinary things begin carrying emotional weight. So, smells, rainstorms, certain times of day, and strangely enough, animals too. Especially recurring animals. There are people who swear cardinals appeared after funerals. Others remember deer arriving during difficult winters. Some speak quietly about neighborhood cats visiting during periods of depression. And many older adults talk about squirrels. Not because they literally believe the squirrel is a message from heaven. Most do not. But grief changes emotional perception. When someone you loved disappears, your heart begins searching for continuity, for reassurance, for patterns, for signs that life still contains connection. And animals provide a unique kind of emotional grounding because they exist completely outside human performance. They are not pretending, not offering rehearsed sympathy. not trying to fix you. They simply continue being alive near you. That honesty becomes healing, especially after the exhausting social experience of grief, where people often say the wrong thing. Stay strong. They're in a better place. You'll move forward. But nature says none of that. A squirrel never asks you to recover faster. It simply arrives, climbs, pauses, observes, leaves, returns tomorrow. Its consistency feels safe. And over time, those tiny interactions become woven into the emotional landscape of healing. The squirrel becomes part of the morning, part of the porch, part of survival. Not because it solved loneliness, but because it softened it. For many older Americans, the backyard becomes more than property. It becomes emotional territory, especially in suburban and rural homes where people have spent decades building a life. The garden planted together, the wind chime bought on vacation 20 years ago, the old chair near the porch steps, the feeder someone once refilled every morning. After loss, these places become sacred in quiet ways. And that is often where squirrels appear most frequently. Backyards hold memory. Not dramatic memory, living memory. Summer barbecues, children running through sprinklers, dogs barking at trees, a husband raking leaves, a wife watering flowers before sunset. When the people change or disappear, the yard remains. Trees continue growing. Seasons continue turning. Squirrels continue running along fences built decades earlier. And for lonely people, this continuity matters deeply. Because grief often creates the sensation that time broke apart. The past feels unreachable. The future feels smaller. But the backyard still recognizes the old routines. Morning coffee on the porch, watching snow fall through the kitchen window, listening to cicadas in late summer. The squirrel becomes part of this emotional ecosystem, a familiar moving presence inside an otherwise quiet world. And over time, many people begin speaking to them softly. Not because they are losing touch with reality, but because conversation itself is healing. Even simple words. Well, there you are again. And perhaps that sentence contains something much larger underneath it. I'm still here too. Psychologists often say healing after grief depends partly on rebuilding routine. Not dramatic transformation. Routine. Making coffee again. Opening curtains again. Watering plants again. Tiny repeated acts help restore emotional stability. And interestingly, squirrels often become part of those routines naturally. A handful of peanuts near the fence. Checking the yard every morning. Watching from the porch during sunset. These moments may seem small from the outside, but emotionally, they can anchor an entire day. Especially for people who no longer have someone waiting inside the house. Ritual creates structure. Structure creates steadiness. Steadiness creates healing. Nature participates in this process beautifully because it operates through cycles. Morning and evening. Summer and winter. Arrival and return. Squirrels embody this rhythm perfectly. They prepare. So return. There is something comforting about witnessing a creature continue its life with quiet persistence, especially when your own heart feels uncertain. Many older adults unconsciously draw strength from this. Not by thinking, "The squirrel is teaching me something," but by simply observing resilience repeatedly. The squirrel keeps going. The seasons keep turning. The yard keeps changing. And slowly, almost invisibly, the lonely person keeps going too. Now here is the part most people never say out loud. What if the squirrel is not reacting to loneliness itself, but to stillness? Older people who live alone often move differently than busy households. More slowly, more quietly, more predictably, and animals trust calm environments. A peaceful porch, gentle routines, soft voices, no sudden chaos. The squirrel may return because your yard feels safe. And perhaps there is something unexpectedly beautiful about that. After all the years of noise, deadlines, arguments, rushing, raising families, surviving difficult seasons, your presence now carries quiet. The kind of quiet nature approaches instead of fears. Maybe the squirrel sees someone patient enough to notice the wind. Someone who understands waiting. Someone who no longer needs the world to move quickly. Animals are incredibly sensitive to emotional atmosphere. Anyone who has lived close to nature understands this instinctively. A calm person changes the feeling of a place. And perhaps that is why certain homes attract wildlife repeatedly. Not because of magic, but because peace itself becomes visible. The squirrel may not understand grief, but it understands safety, stillness, consistency, gentleness. And maybe those qualities become stronger in people who have endured loss. Pain softens some people toward the world. Not weaker, softer, more attentive to small things. And small things begin responding back. Modern life celebrates loudness, fast success, constant visibility, endless activity. But many older people eventually discover something different. The deepest parts of life are usually quiet. Morning light across the kitchen table, rain against a screened porch, a squirrel pausing on a fence after snowfall. These moments never trend online. They never become headlines. Yet they sustain people emotionally in profound ways, especially people living alone. And perhaps that is why these tiny encounters feel spiritual without needing religion attached to them. Because they restore relationship, not necessarily with another person, but with existence itself. The feeling that life still reaches toward you gently. That the world has not fully closed its doors. That even in solitude, you still participate in something living and connected. A squirrel outside the window becomes symbolic because it interrupts emotional invisibility. For one small moment, attention flows both ways. You notice life. Life notices you back. And maybe healing begins there. Not in dramatic breakthroughs, but in tiny recurring reminders that you are not separate from the world around you. The wind still moves through your trees. Sunlight still enters your kitchen. Small creatures still cross your yard as if your home remains part of their map of the world. Because it does. And perhaps you are more connected than loneliness allows you to believe. So the next time a squirrel pauses outside your window, before it runs away, before the moment disappears, just sit still for a second. Notice the quiet. Notice the light. The trees. The ordinary morning around you. And consider this possibility. Maybe the squirrel is not bringing a message. Maybe the message is simply the moment itself. A reminder that even after loss, even after silence, even after years of feeling overlooked, your presence still touches the living world. The universe has not forgotten your address. And somewhere between the rustling trees, the old backyard fence, and the soft morning light, life is still looking back at you.